What's up, everyone? It's Forgotten Circus. So there it is, the last episode, episode 8 of the Skeleton Crew. It's a Star Wars thing, and it just I'm gonna be honest with you, it really didn't hit the ending. I mean, it left it open, but I'm kind of on the fence about this final episode because it seems like you had this whole season and you had to tie it into this last episode, and you kind of forgot what the show was about a little bit. Maybe that's just me, but I really felt like it fell a little flat to me. But overall, I had a lot of fun with this show. I mean, the kids were great, but it seemed like I don't know if this episode was. Sometimes they shoot episodes out of order. I don't know if this one was shot. It just the vibe didn't feel like the show. That I was getting in it. I know it's the series, or I mean season finale. I think it's about to probably get greenlit because it did. I mean, look, I like the show, and I see why a lot of people didn't like it, and there's a lot of people bashing and stuff. That's understandable. I see certain aspects, but it was a different look at Star Wars. That is what I appreciate, and I think that they can go on with this because who knows? This may be leading into the Mandalorian, Grogu, the Mandoverse as well, because it's around the same time. So I'm one of those. I really liked this show. It's just this episode, and it's like you always got some bad episodes, but I wish the bad episode was in the middle and not at the end, because the finale just. I mean, the opening, which is usually the pilot, the first part that you see, that's the one that they pitch to people, and they'll be like, it's a little rough around the edges, and then it gets better and better. The first episode was definitely better than the last episode. Um, but I'll talk about it. So, because I'm going to do some spoilers, and I mean, I liked it, but I didn't. But yeah, so we find out that Ad Atom is actually ruled by the supervisor's droid, which was kind of obvious. So they go emissary, and you see John Otterwood. He is just, and there's a part in here when you see where he's coming from, but then it's like, what are you doing, guy? Like, he is definitely a villain. I mean, he more or less I'll get into it, but he's absolutely like terrible. Like, I love Jude Law as an actor. I think he's a phenomenal actor, and I'm glad he's back. But man, you love to hate him in this, you hate to love him. So and then there's this part where the intimidation to the kids and everything. So you got to see like real life stuff. So it went from, in this episode, it kind of went very dark. It went very dark in this episode, which was, it's a part of Star Wars where I know Star Wars is fun and everything, but there's, I mean, Sith or Sith, if you actually read the books and stuff, oh, it's not fun. Not fun with those guys. And some Jedi too. So, but the way he uses, I mean, they have the robots attack him because, Fern and everything. And they're up to see the supervisor, and they're finally finding out because I did like that part when the supervisor actually called him out on it. But the supervisor really couldn't protect himself at all. But we got to see that Ja definitely knew how to use a lightsaber. And that comes in the fold a little bit later because he was blocking blaster bolts like easily, which I did like. And by the way, Jude Law, I would give John Nana Woods, you are very good at your lightsaber skills. It definitely could get, if you had the right teacher, and we'll get into that later, you definitely had the right skills. Yeah, so I mean, it's just, and then he stabs the supervisor, the robot, whatever droid that's running a whole planet, and it shuts down the whole planet, and then he brings the pirate ships in, and you're just looking at Ja like, you are a piece of shit, dude. Like, you're a piece of shit. Like these kids, this is their dream. Like you're a part of it, and this is what you're doing. But then we find out, like, remember, you love to hate them, you hate to love them. But I did like how everything shuts down and the kids get up this plan. You know, KB, Neil's my dude. Wim stepped up a lot in this episode. I'll give it to him. He stepped up in this episode. And there's a certain part in this episode which I'm also going to get into. Why do I have spoilers while I'm about to get? I don't understand that. You know what I mean? That's just me. I do apologize. I had spoilers for my spoilers. But yeah, we had them on the hover bikes, and that was cool. It was like on Endor with the speeders, you know what I mean? Or the what's the name bikes, you know what I mean? But it seems like those hover bikes is way more elusive. It can turn corners. And then Wim's dad's kind of annoying in this, but he kind of like steps up a little bit and he's like, all right, we got to do this. And even Fern's mom, but Willem, right? What is his name? But anyway, he hops on the bikes and they're doing this whole that part I did like in the episode, you know, the hover bikes, and they were whipping through, and the special effects looked good. It was a little wonky in certain parts, but it worked because with the lighting and everything. That whole thing, because they got to get to the tower, and then you know, the pirates come there invading, so they got to get all the way to the tower. So they go to the tower because they got to turn the power back on so they can shut down the actual barrier. So they get up there. You got that whole scene where the parent, well, not all the parents, but, and by the way, Neil's family is adorable. His mom with the little Max Rebos, absolutely adorable. See, there were some good parts in this, but it just had its moments. And then we find out finally when they get up there, Wim and all that, and his dad, and then Fern and her mother. And we have this whole tussle, and he's like, they're trying to plot against him. He can hear everything, you know. We finally find out that he was a youngling. And he's been so broken. So he was there at Order 66. He's not a Jedi, but he was in training. He was a Padawan. And he said, but who is his master? That's what I want to know. Who is Ja's master? Who is his Jedi master? Because he said it's obviously a female. And she believed in him. And then after that, I guess he just went off the wall. And you see all the thing when they actually shut down the barrier. So you see the barrier go. Now they're totally exposed. The planet. I don't understand why I can't just shut the barrier off. That was one thing that puzzled me. It totally disables the barrier forever. Why couldn't you just have an on and off switch? You could have just made it like you just turn it off, and like cool people can come through, and you can turn it back on. Because obviously something was powering it the whole time. It should have an on and off switch, like a sleep mode kind of. And then you got to see the people, the planet. That was the first time them seeing the sky, because they've always seen that barrier. That was cool. They saw stars for the first time. And Wim's like, cool. I'm like, Wim, you've been up there, whatever. Or not Wim, Neil. I'm like, you've been up there. But we get to find out about, and then we got, because you shut down the barrier, and then finally you get to see how OP the X-Wings are. Why are X-Wings so OP? They are kind of like fighter pilots and stuff. But everything's OP about them. If everybody can make little ships like X-Wings, why have the big ships? Because the X-Wings always take down the big ships. I don't know. Is that me? I don't know. They got the sport mode package on it, I guess. But yeah, so X-Wings come through and they're saving everything because a KB got the message out. And if you're watching this, you watch the episode. And then she called Miss Owl Lady, which is the MVP of the episode. And then she's like, yeah, I got my Republic homeboys, got them coming through. And it was great. But that was cool seeing the X-Wings and the awe on Wim's face because, you know, he wants to be a Jedi. But there were some scenes when, I don't know. But you know that he was obviously, John Nana Wood was obviously a youngling. That's why he can use the Force. He's just not in tune with it. And there's so much hatred in him. He's one of those that he would definitely go to the Sith side if a Sith were out there. like straight up and just told him like, "Hey, come over. You can." He would just he seems like he's very susceptible to the dark side, unfortunately. But I don't know. There's this thing where so tells him not come through. They get he's like, you idiot, you ruined everything. I just didn't never want to kill anybody. I didn't want to do any of this. And you got to see that in the part when KB crashed. You got to see his face. He really felt bad. He knows that he's just so broken that he feels like he just can't feel for anybody. And Jude Law portrays this character really well, which it's one of those, like I said before, you love to hate him, you hate him, love him. But the way it kind of like, so, KB did her thing, and then they obviously destroy all the pirates. So Gunter's probably gone, all those pirates are gone, some evacuated, but they saved the planet. But now the planet's exposed because they had a kill switch that just totally killed everything instead of can be started back up, which I don't know. It's a very faulty design on my part. That's why I didn't like this episode a lot. I'm like, what? Why don't you just be able to turn it off and turn it on? So now the Republic knows about it. So it's probably going to be out there now. All the credits are going to be out there. Not unless they can find a way to, I don't know, keep the planet quiet, but I doubt it. But overall, it was episode was okay. It's just not. It just the ending of it. And there's this one part with Wim when he's literally they get on the elevator and then Ja's sitting there and he's just like heartbroken, like, man, we could have had it all for ourselves. Because I really think that eventually he was just doing that, and eventually I really think he does still care about the kids, and he'd be like, all right, we're cool. Let's just run this operation. That's why I say everybody can go back to work and be the same. I just want to make more money. But I really feel it's just. And then when he got on the elevator, he said his name. Because he said his name because like we still believe we've been through some stuff, man. I think Wim's got such a big heart that it's like we've been through some stuff. Don't forget. It was one of those like, yeah, we did you dirty just like you did us dirty. So, but overall, I don't know where it's going because it kind of ends like that, and they get on. So it just like ends. So I don't know how this is going to. If we're doing a season 2, how it unravels in that, we don't know. Does it unravel in the Mandalorian and Grogu? We don't know, but we will see. But it definitely was a gem for a time. But in this episode, it ran its course. Maybe if you had more episodes, like I think, stop with the 8 episodes. You could have actually built it a lot more because this last episode definitely felt rushed, unfortunately. But overall, I did like it, and now I can understand why people don't like it, and they're like, it's good, but it's not Star Wars. I understand those parts, but there's certain if you dig deeper into it, the show has potential more than the Whack-A-Lite, So, but anyway, that's all I got. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I got my member stuff up. So become a member. I'm going to be adding content on there, and tell me what you think. Tell me what you think in the comments about the season finale. We'll just say the season finale of Skeleton Crew, Star Wars. All right. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. And I want everyone to subscribe. I mean, everyone.